Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Magic Mics, proudly sponsored by Mana Traders, as well as Twitch subs and Patreon supporters just like you. My name is Evan Irwin, and get started each week by saying hello to my two co-hosts, PowrDragn.
What's up, everybody? And I don't know about the edge of Eternities, but I'm definitely at the edge of my mind trying to keep up with all this stuff.
Well, it's a lot. The internet's Reuben Wrestler.
Hey, everybody. We had a really good pre-show discussing getaway sticks and movies and books and all of that. We managed to avoid politics this week successfully.
We did. If you want to hear my thoughts on the new Superman movie, it's in the pre-show. And if you missed that pre-show, patrons get access to our extended version right after the show. $5+ patrons get access to all that content, literally almost 10 years worth of pre-shows. If you really want to go deep, it's out there. It's all, none of it has been deleted. That said, we kick it off with our first pick, and that being Edge of Eternity and the Edge. What do they call these things again? What's
the Shimmer lands?
The special, the Stellar Sites.
Stellar Sites.
Yeah, stellar something. Yeah.
Stellar is the operative word. Doing a lot of work there with that double entendre.
Yeah.
It's a good title at the very least.
It's cute. I'll give them that. It's definitely cute. But we picked a few cards last week to go over, and next week is our top 10 for the set. So I just wanted to pick one card from the set because I feel like it'll likely be on our top 10 list anyway. I didn't want to put two of them as we kind of have been traditionally. So I wanted to pick a card that's in the set and then a card that's part of the Stellar Sites. So we can talk a little bit about the bonus sheet of lands that's included, which I'm a big fan of. Y'all might not be as much.
Yeah, can we just make a plea to Wizards to can we just call them bonus cards? Like, we don't have to have a new name subset. Like,
the name thing is kind of annoying, right?
Yeah, let's just have one thing. We just say these are the bonus cards or the bonus sheet or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And we'll be good. That's all we need.
We had special guests or something for a while.
That was fine. I was good with that for a while.
Question mark, I think.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't even know anymore, but they keep changing it as they always do. But either way, let's go ahead and talk about our first card here from Reuben. What you got?
I mean, there's a lot to be excited about in every Magic set, but I'm a big fan of Sunstar Chaplain, which is a pretty recent card that has come out. I think it was previewed today. It's a 3/2 for a generic and a white human cleric. It's going to be a rare in the set. So 3/2 for 2 mana. We're already getting pretty good stats there. Never unhappy with those statistics, but we also get 2 abilities out of this. Goodness. So the 2 abilities that we get are at the beginning of your end step. If you control 2 or more tapped creatures, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. That can target itself. And pay 2 generic mana and remove a +1/+1 counter from a creature you control to tap target artifact or creature. So that's very exciting. There's a number of ways to make this work. The one that I thought of immediately was Voyager Glidecar, which is a 1 white mana vehicle from Aether Drift. And so you play the Glidecar on turn 1, then you play your Chaplain on turn 2, attack with the Glidecar after you crew it, and then you immediately get the benefit of the trigger. So there's a number of ways that you can take advantage of this creature. Even if it's just a 3/2 that doesn't trigger until your 3rd turn, you're already kind of up on value.
Yeah, that's sort of what I was wondering when I saw the card, was like, how hard do you want to lean on the +1/+1 counters? Or you just say, you know what, just let the card be what it is by itself. And maybe it just does its thing in a few different builds.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, it's a good value card for just 2 mana.
Yeah, I think they've put in a lot of sort of station enablers, right? They want this Convoke-like, ability to help pay off, other than, I just have my creature and I can't do anything else this turn. Well, you tap your creature and it gets a benefit. You tap your creature and the benefit allows you to use a different ability that can remove a counter from any creature you control, which is awesome. Sometimes you're late game in a limited game, for example, and that will save your butt, which is great. But yeah, I mean, clearly the stats are pushed. They have this thing doing 2, one awesome, standard ability and one activated ability that's really good. I'll take these stats, man. This is pushed.
Good stuff.
All right. So what is your Stellar Sites pick?
I mean, there's a lot of good Stellar Sites as well. There's some strikes and there's some gutters, as you would expect in something like this. But I decided to go with Ancient Tomb. Ancient Tomb is certainly a strike. That's a bowling strike, not a baseball.
All right.
Strike. That's a land that says tap, add 2 wingdings, and you take 2 damage. This card is extremely popular in Commander. It's also very good in Legacy and Vintage and other formats. So, more Ancient Tombs I'm happy with. Also, the thing about this Ancient Tomb is it has a very... did you guys play Outer Wilds? You guys probably didn't play Outer Wilds.
No.
For those of you that played Outer Wilds, this looks like Dark Bramble to me.
It's like Dune to me.
A little bit like Dune, except for but it's got the hollow center. It's got the hole in the middle. But
it.
Either way, there's like a person. Oh, that's even cooler. This is like a person inside of a planet. Anyway, very cool art and great card.
Yeah, cool card. I think it's just, also a super high value card to open. I think the cheapest one you can find on these are still around $100.
Yeah.
So this is a pretty spicy one to have if you can crack one of those out of a booster.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be your, your giant lottery, pull from any pack of Edge of Eternities. This is a great way to add value to the set that doesn't, kind of blow it out of proportion because it is sort of part of the bonus sheet. So it's going to be very rarely pulled. So it's not going to damage the existing value or whatever. And to me, the most exciting is that it's going to come to Arena. All of these awesome lands are coming to Arena. And even if they're not as cool as they used to be or as exciting as they used to be, the fact that they're all there is super important. So are they going to probably ban this thing in Historic immediately? Probably. But in Timeless, we're here. And I'll tell you about another one here in just a minute. But let's go ahead and run over my pick here. Let's go ahead and pull it up here if I can get started here. This is one of the coolest cards that I have seen in a minute. Look, my favorite card when I started playing Magic way back in the day was Savannah Lines. Savannah Lines was super cool. It was rad. It showed you what white could do against the other colors. What was white good at? Small creatures with high value or high efficiency that were way better, more efficient than other creatures. And Lord knows, over time, Savannah Lines has not kept up. But the Savannah Lines stats have definitely kept up. And we have one of the best Savannah Lines, if not the best Savannah Line ever printed. Have y'all seen Lightstall Inquisitor?
Yeah.
This is a 1 white mana, rare angel wizard. Y'all, a 1 mana angel. Other than the changeling, there's only one other. That's it. This is, first of all, it's a 1 mana rare angel. Money. But we ain't done. 1 mana, 2/1, rare angel wizard has vigilance. Okay, not necessary. When this creature enters, each opponent exiles a card from their hand and may play that card for as long as it remains exiled. Each spell cast this way costs 1 generic more to cast. Each land played this way enters tapped. So you have the ultimate in tempo. You have this into what's the girl from Innistrad? Thalia. You have this Thalia. Sure. There's your tempo deck. You have this, and it just as a good piece of disruption. It's awesome. I think this is fantastic. Late in the game, when they only have a card or two in their hand, this can still matter. And again, a 1 mana angel that's also a wizard also matters. It's the whole package. This card is terrific.
Yeah, it's an angel that also doesn't fly, interestingly.
Yeah,
true.
So I thought that was kind of cool. But the design all around this card is very strange, but also very interesting. Yeah. And I think that makes it very appealing.
Yeah, the flavor of the Asteli in the set, which is sort of the angel people, sort of the celestial blooded of the set, is that they don't have wings necessarily. They are descended from celestial beings, celestial having a double meaning here. And I think that it's an opportunity for them to explore the design space of angels, giving them a 1-drop. Giving them a creature that doesn't fly. This is obviously an extremely good card regardless of the type line, but the fact that it has 2 relevant creature types, at least 1.5 relevant creature types for collectors, is noteworthy.
Yeah, this card is absolutely terrific. And again, it just blew me away at how much value you're getting out of 1 mana creatures that are 2/1s with vigilance. Like, okay. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Well, look, for my pick of the Edge of Eternities Stellar Sights super duper wild card, for me, it's got to be Strip Mine. This, y'all, they're putting Strip Mine into Arena. Y'all, they have said at least the current what the current messaging that we have seen, this isn't final, but what we have seen is that this will live in Timeless as a 4 of, just like Dark Ritual does. Dark Ritual still remains a 4 of. Necropotent still remains a 4 of. You can play 4 of this in Timeless on day 1. Go ahead and craft them, because you're either going to be using them forever in a Timeless deck that you're going to build, or you're going to get your wild cards refunded to you because they eventually ban it. Or restrict it as they do in Timeless because they want it to be vintage and so on. Yeah, this card is just bananas for that format. I know I'm one of the weirdos who plays that format, but I love playing with crazy powerful toys. And here you go. From 1994. Says hello. It's amazing.
I mean, Strip Mine's been good. It's going to still be good. I mean, you just get to destroy any land. And hey, there's a lot of really good lands as it turns out. So yeah. This card definitely another hot one to open.
Yeah.
And having it on Arena is going to be a big deal for Timeless, for sure.
Really is.
There's also somebody's going to open the 4-mana 2/4 that allows you to play an additional land and lands from your graveyard in a limited event. And that'll be a great screenshot that'll get lots of engagement.
Yes, that will be the limited deck that we see at the Pro Tour. Somebody's going to get the Mondo combo, and they're going to get it on camera because it's just it has to happen. Yeah, it's going to be lovely. PowrDragn, what's your first card?
Well, since you took the 1-drop that has a lot of value, what if I told you there's a 2-drop that has not 1, not 2, not even 3 abilities? It comes with 5 ungodly abilities for some unknown reason.
Jesus.
But we're talking about Frenzied Baloth.
Yeah.
It is a green 3/2 beast. It can't be countered. Creature spells you control can't be countered. Combat damage can't be prevented. And on top of that, for some unknown reason, it has trample and haste. This thing's wild. Like, I don't even know why this is. Obviously, they felt the need to keep stacking stuff on this card somewhere along the way in testing.
Right.
But there's some reason they wanted all these abilities to exist. I don't know what they are yet.
Yeah.
But damn, this card's something.
Yeah, if we keep making really good shocks, how good can we make a green 2-drop?
Yeah, I guess so.
With
Maybe
2
that's the
toughness.
question.
How good can we make a 3/2 for 2 and it not break anything? Because this is very good. It's ludicrously good. If you showed this to somebody in 1994, they'd be like, "Are you freaking kidding me?
They'd laugh
This
out
is
of the building.
too good."
Yeah, no.
But do any of us think that this will be banned?
No.
Not even close.
No.
To me, at least based on sort of the way it words, first of all, Questing Beast says what's up, but this is like, Questing Beast at home, and this is still fantastic.
It's a baby Questing Beast.
When creatures and this spell can be countered, creature spells can be countered, combat damage, and particularly combat damage can be prevented, says to me that they may be more willing to do protection from colors, because this make sure that damage still happens, even if they have pro green and they block it. You're like, well, buddy, you didn't read the card, did you? That type of thing. So they could make more powerful protection from so-and-sos because this stuff can kind of negate it. We'll see. I don't know. Like, there was all sorts of weird stuff with Questing Beast when this happened. So
yeah, green stacking up the 3 power 2 cost guys too, and they're all good. Like, so mono green's gonna have a lot of good 2-drops.
This is one of them. Like, this card is priced to move. I don't know how else to explain it. Like, I don't think you could really ask for much more other than could it draw me a card maybe, but that's every Magic card that exists. So
I mean, after a sweeper, this is awesome. Just 2 mana, go get it.
Oh yeah, 2 mana gets you. Like, that's fantastic. Not to mention, there's so many like white cards and or white spells that bring cards with low converted mana.
Oh, that's true too.
Back to the battlefield. This is the perfect target for that stuff. This is great. So we'll see maybe some more of that. What's your second card?
My second one's another expensive one, but Mana Confluence. Also, being one of those cards that as we make more 5-color stuff, this is exactly the type of card people are looking for. Just pay a life, add a mana of any color to your mana pool. Just straight up, nice and simple. Also, randomly, because we had an artifact previewed in this set that has to do with slivers, that has pushed a lot of 5-color stuff back into discussion. A lot of slivers started moving again. So yeah, this is definitely going to be one of those cards I think people are going to be excited to open. Really cool piece of art as well on all the variants of it. So that was really neat. But yeah, if you want another 5-color piece and hopefully something that helps control the value on these at least a little bit, this would be cool. Because I think the cheapest ones you can find on this are around $30.
I didn't know that was the cheapest these days. Wow.
Yeah, they're pricey.
Man, Confluence is blown up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is the best City of Brass ever made. And that's Old Man Magic talking to you right there with their City of Brass. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we did just get Starting Town, but that one not necessarily as powerful even yet.
Yeah.
Even still, no, I love a good, powerful, expensive land. We talked about where, these stellar sites, I mean, as you kind of see with a lot of sort of reprint lists and bonus lists and so on, you're going to have all that value kind of at the top, 10, 15% of cards?
Yeah.
And everything else is kind of going to be meh. And that's just kind of the way and honestly, I think that's the way you want to do it at this point. They have honed this to a science of the amount of value you put in each kind of different, stack of cards, whether it's the mythics and the rares and so on. And their bonus sheets, I think they found, having X amount of dollars in those bonus sheets can provide Y amount of sales. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm on the mindset of just give me the big ones. I don't need the small ones.
Right.
And just make it super exciting when you open one.
Sure. So to clarify, you would rather, for example, have there not be the cycle of comes into play tap dual creature lands at all.
Yes.
And just have the stellar sites that people are going to be ludicrously excited to open.
Mostly because what we've seen, especially since I started going to the packs for FNMs, where you get the regular packs and the foil packs or whatever.
Right.
When somebody gets a regular pack, it's disappointing. Even though the cards are still good and it's still a prize and you want a thing, it's like, oh, well, I didn't get the foil, right? It's just that same thing of oh, I got a special card. And you're like, oh, I got the 39-cent creature land or whatever, right? I'd rather just not have it in there. But that being said, they did put a lot of effort in the artwork. I mean, there's a lot of cool looking things that if you want to just bling out your decks or whatever, there's going to be a lot of cool stuff for that for sure. I mean, just, you're just scrolling down the list. I mean, it's the artwork on these is amazing. So I can see why people would at least want these.
Yeah.
Yeah. The starship going over the cascading cataracts, I think it's called. Yeah. It's just my favorite. This little starship guy. It's beautiful. And the rainbow, rings around the planet. I mean, goodness gracious. They went crazy with the colors in these things. Yeah. I think to me, I love these bonus lists. I think they're great. I think they're wonderful ways to get old cards into Arena without making anthologies or whatever. No, man, make them as really cool bonus sheets. I'll take it,
Now, how are these going to be in packs?
The same as I think other bonus sheets. One per pack, depending on how they set it up exactly. And obviously the collector packs have one of X and Y and so on.
I mean, this group of, first of all, lands are kind of always going to be more of a hit than non-lands because in terms of monetary value. But there are some real hits in this collection. Yeah. We're making fun of Needle Spires and company, but you've got Mirror Pool, which is not nothing. You've got Lotus Field. You've got the aforementioned lands that we just talked about. You've also got Gemstone Caverns, which not for nothing is, I think, the most popular land in competitive Commander. Either that or Ancient Tomb. So there's a bunch of stuff to like about this this particular collection.
Yeah, thank you, DeloWow from YouTube for knowing it's 1 in 8 play boosters.
Yep.
So
1 in 8.
It will not be. They're one per collector booster. That was my mistake. All right, let's move out of the first pick here to gather the Townsfolk. Thanks to our sponsor, Mana Traders. The best tool to enhance your Magic Online experience. Use the code MagicMikes_VG8. That's video game 8 for 10% off your next subscription with Mana Traders. Tell them we sent you. We appreciate it. And let's move on here to Gather the Townsfolk, where we talk about some stuff happening in the community. And this is your official notice to go watch the new Rhystic Studies video, Impressions of a Monolith. It goes over Final Fantasy and its impact, now works Magic and the whole bit. And it's beautiful and amazing as all of his work has been. No doubt there. So go check that out. There's a film that is debuting at Gen Con.
Yes.
Have we heard of this?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, I'll bring up the Blue Sky. What do they even call them? Posts, I guess, at this point.
You don't want to call it a
turn,
skeet? You aren't good with
no one wants to call it a skeet. Igniting the Spark, the story of Magic the Gathering feature film will be debuting at Gen Con. Now, didn't we have one of those on Netflix?
Oh, yeah.
Like, what, 5 years ago? Something like that? 6-ish years ago?
If so, I didn't see it, but not to say it didn't exist.
It's been a minute, but there was a release of some amount of film, and it was the I can't remember the name now. Anyway, Nathan Holt and Friends.
Yeah.
Either way, inside the deck stuff. No, it's not true. Either way, Mike Turian's known the Igniting the Spark is going to be a feature film debuting at Gen Con. There's free tickets if you want to go show up there. Gen Con is happening in a couple weeks, so get your tickets if you want to check it out. Tell us how it went. Go see it. Let us know.
It's a 2-hour movie, so like somebody put real time into this thing.
Yeah, there's a non-zero chance that Wizards didn't sponsor some of this, and I wouldn't be surprised if they did not, or if they did rather. And we'll see how it ends up. So let's hope it's good. All right, let's move on here. Really interesting to look at the standard metagame. Lord knows we complained about it enough. So now that they banned 7 freaking cards, what do we have? Well, Frank Carson hosts the first MTGO events after the shape of PostBan Standard is Dimir midrange versus everything else. Now, Dimir midrange is at 32%, which is a large percentage. However, it ain't 40 or 40 plus. And this is clearly very early in the metagame. Followed by mono white tokens at 9.5%. Is it Cauldron at 8.3%? Is it Prowess at 6.7%? And Gruul and Boros and so on. So, again, we clearly have a front runner, as we always will. And honestly, I'm glad the front runner doesn't have red in it. Red's not to the 3rd deck of the format, and I'm kind of okay with that, really.
I think the bigger thing is when you look at his chart, you have over 9% being brews effectively.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's a thing that didn't exist for a minute. So seeing that shift already is a positive. And I think if Dimir stays on top, there are things people can do to combat it and play against it. Plus, Dimir's going to take a bit of a hit here because they are going to lose like cut down and some things like that do help that deck.
Right.
So we'll see what happens here in another like 2 weeks or so when we start talking about Edge of Eternities.
Yeah. And thank you to Twitch chat. Enter the Battlefield was the name of that movie.
Yeah.
That show.
Oh, yeah. I do remember hearing about that.
Yeah. And it was, as I recall, it was a pretty decent flick. I really
it was okay.
Good stuff. So either way, it's nice to see a metagame again that's just kind of not in chaos, which is nice. Like, it doesn't feel like it's in chaos now. It feels like it's in
32
flux.
is still too high.
It's too high.
But it's nice that something else is on top. I like a Dimir midrange aggressive kind of deck. It's nice that Kaito gets his time in the sun,
Right.
So there's things to like about it. We'll get tired of it in a month, but maybe people will figure out what to do with it,
Right. Well, this is the part where, though, as long as that number goes down, that 32% is not 32% the next time we look at this chart, we're in the right direction. Like, we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, like I said, we know we're going to get another rotation here in a couple weeks. So that'll shift it for sure. But then from what we've been seeing, I mean, there are other decks that are already starting to make a push in some of these events. If you're looking at like MTG Top 8 and the results, there's a lot of like Golgari stuff starting to make a push. You're starting to see a little bit more of the Is It Cauldron decks are also gaining a little bit of popularity there.
Interesting.
So
Cauldron.
We'll be it's VV and Cauldron and the blue-white draw spells.
Oh, Agatha Soul Cauldron. Yeah, the combo deck. Yeah.
The combo, yeah.
Got it. Cool.
So you're going to be seeing a variety of things. And right now, we have no idea what Edge of Eternities is going to bring because so many of these cards are kind of wacky. And we have no idea if the spacecraft are going to do anything at all right now. So
yeah,
it's going to be an open world, no pun intended there, for at least a good 3 to 4 weeks, I think, after that set launches.
Yeah, moving on here to our next bit. There was a video posted by ChannelFireball about ChannelFireball is changing. An update for our viewers, it's called, and it's on the TCG Player channel.
Yeah,
I don't believe it's on the YouTube channel any longer, or like the ChannelFireball YouTube channel. They're kind of essentially coalescing all of it together. At some point, I think at some point it becomes a little silly to be ChannelFireball anything. Because the website's kind of depreciated. The website doesn't sell anything anymore. The website has been bought by eBay and TCG Player. TCG Player is clearly the ones sponsoring this content and making it happen. They're talking about all of their old content is going to be on TCG Player for access there if you want. Their new content's going to be there too. So this is the part where you just go like, I think we got to let the CFB go. Like, I think that era has kind of ended, honestly.
It's really interesting.
I mean, that happens when there's buyouts, right? Like at some point, one of the brands gets consumed by the other if you're not going to keep operating it as an independent entity. And we've kind of seen that they're not selling stuff anymore while they do still sponsor a team, I guess, technically. I imagine all the money and stuff is coming through TCG Player being the parent company and all that stuff. Right. So yeah, it's time.
Right. Like basically fine. TCG Player is cutting all the checks, but CFB is still getting the branding out of it. Like that dog don't hunt, as they say.
But to be fair, it might have been they weren't sure what they were going to do with it just yet. So like, hey, let's just leave it alone. So keep the brand.
Right.
Yeah. Keep the notoriety in case we want to do something. You already have a brand that's recognized. But now that a couple of years has passed, it looks like we're not going to be doing anything with it.
Yeah, I mean, I did the very same with Gathering Magic at Cool Stuff. At some point, I was like, we own the website. Let's just put it on the website and not do this weird, there's two websites, but one talks about the other.
Yeah.
So, again, this just, to me, is just like, well, ChannelFireball had a pretty fantastic run. If anything, they were around for about 15 years or so. And that's impressive in any sort of gaming space to be around that long. And, I think just moving on TCG Player there'll be Team TCG Player moving forward, which I think is the right move. If I were in charge of their marketing, that's what I would do. All right, let's move on here to some desperate ravings, some rantings and ravings in the community. There was a question, which I think is a really good question to talk about at this point, based on where we're at with Universes Beyond. And being someone who was I was on board with Universes Beyond, I want to say before anybody else, but I would certainly say as an early adopter who talked about it for a very long time. And now we're in this world where we have, third-party IPs coming to Magic, and someone's like, hey, is there any concerns for the pace of Universes Beyond? Are we going to run out of places to go? You know what I mean? Like, there's only so many Lord of the Rings, even if they did another Lord of the Rings set, even Star Trek, even if they were to get Star Wars, even if they were to get, for God's sakes, Pokemon, they never will. But if they were, again, at some point, there's not a universe big enough to go beyond, if that makes sense.
Right.
And so Rosewater said, look, one of the long-term issues is there are an endless number of properties that would make good for Universes Beyond sets, not just ones that we think would make good for creative executions, but properties large enough that there are enough players who would want it and be excited by it. So they're aware that Universes Beyond is not an endless well, thank God. Yet another reason created in-universe sets is important. It's a larger resource. It's something they can kind of go back to. And then, if anything, I think we're going to really see the seams of that when we have this Spider-Man in-universe stuff on digital thing that's about to happen. It's going to get a little weird.
Yeah, I think, and this is something I've thought about a little bit too, is we are going to reach a point where the only thing available are going to be your white whales, right?
Right.
The Pokemons, the Dragon Ball Zs, the Disney, whatever. Yeah. It's just the really huge ones, right? There's only going to be that left at some point. And then it just becomes how much are you willing to pay and how many you're willing to do. Now, what we saw with Marvel is they said, okay, well, hey, let's make a deal where we get to do 3 sets, right? So that extends it a little bit more.
But then the digital part of it just went blop, blop.
Yeah, sure.
Womp, womp.
But I do also think that might be part of the reason that they're saying, hey, let's really try to move on this animated series and a movie, right? One of these needs to go off, right? Yeah. Because we need to push more. Because I think people forget, Magic has done a lot without having anything outside of the game to really push it, right? All of it's what you would call competitors, where you're talking about Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or whatever.
Right.
All have something else, cartoons, video games, whatever. And that's never existed for Magic.
Yep.
So if you could make that happen, what is the ceiling, right? And they don't even have to be stellar. Like, be as good as the D&D movie, but for Magic, right? Like, can you get us that far?
Man, the D&D movie was great. D&D
movie was real good.
Really good.
Yeah.
It was.
So I'm like, if you can get us that far, then cool. That solves a lot of your problems. But if you can't, then you got to keep chasing those white whales, I think, for the next probably 5 or 6 years.
Can you make me a movie like the D&D movie that was so good? And we talked about this in the pre-show. I did see that movie twice.
Yeah.
Start to finish, I watched that movie twice.
Yeah.
Can we make? I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy should not be an unachievable goal for the game.
Sure, that's another one that's on par. I think
that's a solid 7 out of 10 movie. It shouldn't be that hard with the fan base that we have and the 30 years of stories that we have. That something in there can get turned into a movie. That's Hollywood, though, baby. It's tough to get anything made. It's a miracle that anything gets.
It's a miracle any movie and property really kind of happens.
Much less one with such ridiculous IP requirements.
But I think that's why it surprised people on some level. They're like, "Hey, didn't we just hear that they're working on the animated series and they're going to be making a movie?"
Yeah.
To me, that feels like Wizards might be hedging their bets. That one of these is not going to happen, or it's going to take much longer than we want it to happen. So if we get both of them moving, maybe one of them hits. You know what I mean?
Well, I think we saw that. If anything, I think we saw sort of during the Baldur's Gate 3, period where it kind of was being developed and being released. Remember, there was some Magic games that came out. There were some mobile games that came out. There was that Magic Legends that completely exploded on the launch pad. Like, I think they were sort of trying to do the sort of the video game route, which 40K has done very well with. They'll give whoever wants a 40K license. They'll give you like the tiniest scrap of an outlier character to see if you can do actually make a good game. But the better you do, the better the IP they'll give you.
Here's the problem, though, right? When we got that Magic game, instead of just giving us a Magic skin Diablo like they pitched it, we got this weird amalgamation of like shuffled spells in hand, and it was just
and mana that was like a gauge or something, but it couldn't tell you how much.
Exactly. It was just this weird thing. And it's like, no, just make it simple. We just want the Magic flavor, the Magic. Hell, we had Magic spells, but we didn't even name them after the actual Magic spells.
With different art. Oh, God.
Yeah, it was like, what are we doing? Like, what?
It was an IP nightmare.
It was
how
not to do it, quite frankly. What
was the point of having the IP was my thing. Like, it's terrible.
It was like a Magic game by people who didn't play Magic. It was weird.
So and while Evan was always on team, I like Team Universes Beyond. I was not. You can go back and watch old episodes of me being like, I hate this. I hate it less at this exact moment than I hated it when they first announced it. I still don't like it. I still think it's a bad idea overall. I still think that Universes Beyond as an overarching idea is getting us money today that will pull money from the game in 10 years. I still think that it is going to cost Magic long term, because one of the reasons is there aren't enough partners long term. In 5 years, 10 years, whenever, we're gonna run out of Universes Beyond, and when we run out, we won't have enough strength to hold ourselves up with our own legs because we skipped leg day.
See, I thought,
and I know that's a hot take. I know that's.
No, I don't think that's really a hot take. I think a lot of people feel that way.
I don't believe
but I think what we're seeing is a huge influx of players with nearly every Universes Beyond set.
That's very true.
That's
when you're going to these Magic cons, there are tons of people saying, I started playing because of the Fallout set, or when Doctor Who came out, or whatever, or now Final Fantasy, obviously. But I think the thing there is these players coming in don't know things to be different, right? So they're still just buying Magic cards and buying stuff for their favorite decks and making their stuff better, and they don't care. Like, they don't know the difference. Like, it stands out to us because, we're all old. But, for them, they don't know a world where this wasn't the case. So whatever set comes out, they're just into it, right? Sure. For them, it's just new cards.
And honestly, that part I did not take into account. I thought that it would be the Fortnite-ification of Magic. Instead, what it has become is the Smash Brothers-ification or the Kingdom Hearts-ification of Magic, which is much better. And I actually appreciate, and you're absolutely right, that Magic cons feel so much better than Grand Prix ever felt.
By a mile.
By leaps and bounds.
To me, Universes Beyond is the best way that they have figured out how to get new players into the game ever.
For sure.
Like, just ever. I mean, they've went back to worlds that are popular, and they've done things that call back to the older players, the generations and so on. But they've never just been like, hey, you person who has no idea what Magic is, and I can't just make you like it. I know you like this thing. Here's a paint of Magic on it, or a Magic layer of paint. You'll probably like this. And then they do. And then they, they go, oh, what else is out there?
But I think there's another level to it, especially, and we saw this really hard with Final Fantasy, as it's not just getting those other people, it's getting everybody else to talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because literally every game site, and almost every, if it was tabletop games, video games, whatever, was talking about Final Fantasy for the better part of like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And that got a ton of eyeballs on it. You know, and then when they announced they were going to do the new Tactics remake or whatever, like that got a bunch of news and whatever, because like eyeballs were just on the property for that. So yeah, they're getting what they want out of this for sure.
Yeah, it worked out. All right, let's turn the corner here.
Well, before we turn the corner, I do want to quickly mention I used to talk a lot more about poker on the show back when I was playing poker full time, but the World Series of Poker main event just ended, and a professional poker player has won the main event for the first time in like 25 years, because the event is so big that usually an amateur wins the event. Michael Mizrachi, aka the Grinder, who is one of the all-time money leaders in poker all time. He's won the Players Championship, the 25K Players Championship 4 times, has won the main event. I think that that's huge news. The fact that one of the best players in the world wins the biggest tournament that exists is noteworthy and notable. And so I just wanted to shout that out. Also, for the first time since I think the 80s, a woman made the final table. A woman from Spain named Leo Margaretz made the final table and got 7th place. So congratulations to her as well.
I mean, isn't it a little weird?
Quick poker news.
Well, I mean, okay. So for example, because we're a Magic podcast, you know, what you see in Magic is that the best players generally are ending up in the top 8. Granted, the events aren't quite as large. Now, for poker, wouldn't you generally see a lot of the poker like pros in the top 8s of these events, regardless, because the cream rises and all that stuff? Like, is there just too much variance no matter what?
Yeah, there's too much variance. There's too many players.
Yeah,
and there's too much randomness available.
Versus like Magic,
because you have
Pro Tour,
the World Series of Poker is basically like the largest Magic Grand Prix.
Yeah,
every year. Right? Like it's all 6, 7, 8,000 people showing up and playing over the course of like 10 days or whatever.
Think about how often pros won Grand Prix as compared to Pro Tours, obviously. Grand Prix would get won by amateurs more than half the time, as opposed to a silver level or a gold or a platinum level pro.
But the pros were always in the top 8. That's where you would find the Shuhei Nakamuras and the
you'll usually find
Nelsons.
pro players, if not the final table, the final 2 or 3, as things are coming together. Yeah.
Well, congratulations to them. I think that's great. Let's move on here. Turn the corner to the finisher. Now, the rumor this week, speaking of gambling and things, was that Uno was coming to Las Vegas casinos very soon. Now, it turned out not to be true. Sorry, Uno fans. But it did get me thinking, how would you bring your favorite games into the casino life, Reuben?
Well, the way that we get Dungeons and Dragons into the casino, other than the theme slot machine, is with the Roll for Advantage table, where the player tries to hit progressively tougher and tougher armor classes with a D20, complete with graphics of zombies and mimics and dragons, but it'll end the same way those stories always end, with one last vodka soda and a total party kill.
Fair. Okay, trying to get Magic in a casino is going to be hard. Not only because they already have poker and, a game of skill that doesn't really make them that much money already. They don't really need regular Magic, wizard poker. But that's partly because they already have Magic in the casinos. It just looks like Penn and Teller and David Copperfield.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like what happens when you talk to normies, if you will, about our precious wizard squares. They're like, what are you talking about?
Though I will say, if you've never been to one of those magician shows in Vegas, gosh damn, they're cool as hell.
Yeah.
Well, look, my favorite game is already in Vegas casinos. Esports gambling, everybody, is big business, and Counter-Strike betting is way up there. Now, getting actual Counter-Strike is less likely, but the way we get it in there is to just frame it to the casino owners that there's no gamble quite like digging for knives and loot boxes in Counter-Strike 2. It's just, it's a lovely thing.
Yeah, don't mention weapons when you're in the casino. It's probably bad.
No. I mean, the search for knives in Counter-Strike blows my mind.
Counter-Strike skins is a $4 billion market.
It's crazy.
$4 billion.
Yeah, you don't think Vegas wants gamble, a piece? Man.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Real faster. I know this is silly, but it's a Counter-Strike thing. They just came out with it. People are kind of freaking out about it. They just implemented a system because so many people are getting scammed out of hundreds of dollars of their skins. When you trade something on Counter-Strike now, this just came out, you can reverse that trade up to a week later.
Wow.
So if
weird.
There's no more, I clicked on a link and all my skins are gone and oh my God, I got scammed.
Okay.
No, you literally can reverse up to 7 days. It relocks your account for 30 days from trading anymore.
Sure.
But if that's what it takes to
but
get
you
your
don't
stuff
lose your
back,
hat. Yeah.
don't lose your crap. So
amazing.
Interesting.
Really cool.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good change.
There you go. And that was also another live episode of Magic Mics. Thanks for joining us here to discuss all things Magic. Thank you, PowrDragn.
Hey, it's always good to be here. And man, I'm going to be at the edge of eternity, still doing a ton of stuff because there's a lot to dive into on this set.
We'll be here with our top 10 on Tuesday. Thank you, Reuben.
Hey, thank you. And I don't usually do this, but a friend of mine just launched a new podcast called Double Stuff, where he and his best friend talk about different Oreo flavors. So go check out the Double Stuff podcast.
Hey,
it's great.
I knew some people that had
different.
a podcast about just tasting cheeseburgers at different places.
Yeah,
so yeah, why not?
So the first episode just came out. Search up. His name's Max Isaacson. I've talked about him on the show before because he's a film director, and I really like the movie he directed. He and his buddy started this podcast, and it's like a 30-minute podcast. It's got really nice audio to get that crunch.
Nice
for you.
Well,
and go check it out.
That crispy cookie crunch, if you will.
That's right. Milk's favorite cookie.
Sweet. To our final slide. I want to thank our sponsor, Mana Traders, my co-host, PowrDragn, and Reuben Bressler, viewers like you for watching or listening. Please follow, like, tweet, favorite, share, post, subscribe to everything social tells people we exist. Catch us on our exclusive member Discord. Subscribe to our Patreon. Watch us live on Twitch. Join us live or tape on our YouTube channel. Check us out on TikTok. Follow us on Blue Sky. Join us here next week. Same time, same place for another episode of Magic Mics. Good night, everybody.